You must be familiar with that insatiable feeling of arousal you get when you look at something or someone like this. Ever wondered who gave birth to this sexy, lusty, and irresistible feeling? It was the erotic nympho goddess who went by the name Aphrodite. This woman was also the goddess of love, beauty, and eternal youth, and it is said that she was so beautiful that the gods waged war against each other to win her over, and today's video is all about her. So hello, welcome back to our channel, and no pun intended, let's just jump right into her. The name Aphrodite means sea foam, but why did she get such a name? The reason is hidden in her origins. The primordial deity in Greek mythology known as Uranos or Uranus was the father of the Titans and the giants together with Gaia, the earth. Uranos imprisoned the giant suns, the Cyclops and the Hecatoncheires, in Tartarus, the underworld buried deep within the earth, because he felt threatened by their might and ferocity. Gaia was very hurt and enraged by this, and over time, she and the Titans plotted Uranos' murder. Gaia produced a massive stone sickle and convinced her Titan sons to castrate their father. When the Titans, under the leadership of Kronos, were able to castrate their father, Uranos' genitalia fell into the water and created a white froth. Aphrodite was created from this froth off the shore of Cythera, Cyprus. There are other legends surrounding Aphrodite's birth, such as the one in which he is described as the father of Zeus and Dione. Now you must be wondering, which god was fortunate enough to have the most beautiful goddess as their consort? Well, quite a few gods were in luck, as there were a handful of them that had their chance with her. Unsurprisingly, she caused mayhem among the other gods the minute she arrived on Olympus, with each of them fighting her at once. Hephaestus, the ugliest god to exist, was one such god, and he loved Aphrodite so much that he kidnapped the goddess Hera and asked for Aphrodite's hand in return. To free Hera and stop the mayhem in Olympus, Zeus quickly wed her to Hephaestus. Hephaestus was so ugly that his own mother was annoyed with his ugly looks and expelled him from Olympus when he was born. So there was no way the goddess of beauty was going to stay loyal to him. She therefore began a relationship with Ares, who was equally vicious and destructive as she was. Her husband, Hephaestus, spent each night working at a store. The two lovers took advantage of the circumstance and continued to make love till daybreak. Electryon, a young guy whose job was to monitor the door, was always with Ares. He did this in order to let them know when Helios, the sun, appeared on the horizon. The Greeks believed that any god or goddess might engage in any form of romantic relationship. What wasn't allowed was to have only one lover and maintain it. In other words, formal infidelity. The relationship between Aphrodite and Ares was just that. Everything was going well. But then Electryon once slept off while watching because of his rigorous daily routine. Naturally, he was unable to inform Aphrodite and Ares about Helios' coming out. The latter witnessed the couple sleeping between the same covers as Aphrodite and Hephaestus did. So he went to the god of fire and told him everything. But that wasn't it. Hephaestus was enraged and was simply focused on getting even, as always. He created a magnificent net out of gold threads to do this. They were invisible because they were so thin, but they were also incredibly resilient, and then placed the gold-threaded net on the mattress. Then he announced his departure to Aphrodite. Always aware of Hephaestus' plans, Ares seized the chance to see Aphrodite right away. While they were being intimate, the gold threads' web dropped on them and grabbed them. Hephaestus arrived right away and summoned the presence of every god, and the adulterers were released only after Poseidon agreed to pay for their freedom. But Hephaestus couldn't have realized that Poseidon had rekindled his love for Aphrodite after seeing her naked. He must have found out later, since Aphrodite gave Poseidon at least one daughter, Rhode. She also didn't give up Ares. Deimos, Phobos, Harmonia, Adrestia, and the four Erotes were among the 8 children she gave birth to for the god of war following the bronze net incident. Then came Hermes' turn. Hermes didn't have many consorts, but as the name of their children, Hermaphrodites, implies, he did have his time with Aphrodite at least once. And if we consider that Priapus is typically seen as the child of Dionysus and Aphrodite, it would appear that only Zeus and Hades were able to avoid falling in love with the goddess of love. However, the first one could have been her father, while the second one didn't even reside on Mount Olympus. When she wasn't busy making other people fall in love, Aphrodite had some time to fall in love herself. She once brought a little kid that she had discovered next to a myrrh tree to the underworld and begged Persephone to look after him. She, however, fell head over heels for this suddenly extremely attractive mortal when she went to see him after a long time. She then requested to have Adonis back. Persephone didn't heed to her request. Zeus settled the quarrel by dividing Adonis's time between the two goddesses. But when the time came, Adonis preferred Aphrodite and didn't want to return to the underworld. So Persephone sent a wild boar to kill him, and Adonis bled to death in Aphrodite's arms. Just a few days later, Aphrodite once again fell in love with Anchises, a Trojan prince. She charmed him and had sex with him while pretending to be a princess. He was given a promise of a noble son and the threat to keep the affair to himself before she finally disclosed who she was. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to keep the secret, so Zeus struck him with his thunderbolt and blinded him, and he was unable to witness the powerful Roman Empire that his son, Aeneas, had discovered. Paris was the third and final mortal who was blessed with seeing Aphrodite naked. This took place when she was charged with selecting the fairest of the three gods, Aphrodite, Hera, and Athena. Paris selected her because Aphrodite promised him the most beautiful girl in the entire world if he did. Aphrodite made sure that he got Helen, the Spartan queen, an event which triggered the bloody decade-long Trojan War. Now we have seen Aphrodite's love stories, but haven't talked about her other side. Few dared to challenge Aphrodite's might, and she showed no pity to any of them. Just like Hippolytus, the founder of Athens, and his wife Hippolytus' son was named Hippolytus. He developed into a hunter and sportsman who hated sexual activity and disapproved of marriage as a social institution. As a result, he was firmly devoted to Artemis, the virgin goddess of hunting, and refused to worship the goddess of beauty and love, Aphrodite. Aphrodite was enraged by Hippolytus' treatment, and as a form of retaliation, she caused his stepmother Phaedra to fall madly in love with him. Phaedra killed herself and left her husband a note accusing Hippolytus of raping her after he turned down his stepmother's advances and humiliated her. Theseus was furious with his son after receiving the message, but Hippolytus was away on a hunting trip. Theseus invoked Poseidon and made use of one of the three wishes that the sea god had given to him to send problems in his son's ways. Poseidon kept his word and dispatched a sea monster to terrorize the chariot horses of Hippolytus. Hippolytus was pushed off the car and became caught in the reins as the horses got out of control. He soon died while being dragged. So, the common trend we notice here is that Aphrodite's beauty came with a heck of a lot of misfortune, because everyone who had a chance to be with her suffered in the end. Would you be willing to accept misfortune in a trade-off if you had the chance? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed the story of the goddess of lust, smash the like and subscribe button and stay tuned for our next video. See you next time.